Davin Neza. Many disagree, but I never used that cooler only where they have it.
Filter fish is cooked by a guy.
Filter fish is not oil shech malochem, it's something else.
Even if you think it is, you could
No, but that's not a problem. I had meat already done, a whole party done, and the guy did it, and they didn't realize the guy. I told the person, you don't have to. There was a whole party. Now I want to eat. It's a bizarre good, But just people have called me up, and the big. I say, throw it out. The man, you should know that.
Are you saying this by Bishul or by
Bishul. The Avnei Neza.
What I'm saying is the cool that Avnei Neza says is that we're saying we shouldn't rely on.
He doesn't say that.
I'm saying that we're saying
we're not to many. But the Avnei Neza is makel by Bishul too.
Okay, but by Pas.
Pas is also a chiddush of the Avnei Neza. Some achronim who are makel that it's not everyone agrees to it. They hold that if you make it with stomach eupheloim, it gets better, then it takes away the problem. One second, let me answer this question. So the Avnei Neza says, by Bishul it works, and by Pas it works. Many achronim argue on this Avnei Neza, but the Avnei Neza was very big.
What I'm saying is by Pas, can I go in and buy?
No, the achronim say not to do dalagat chalam. Not to. If you can, don't. If you stock, do it. That's why I've told people, go on vacation. When I teach a smicha program with the judge, the shluchim, I tell them, this is one halacha you will have to know. You're going to be, who knows what, you guys wind up in Huppitzville. And you know what I mean? And you guys got to know, if there's no bread, you could just if you get bread, but it has to be mitzamag yufaloi. Not always, mitzamag yufaloi. The bagel is the best mashal. A bagel, you rewarm, it's geschmack. I don't know if bread is always that way. If it really gets better, then it takes away the possible.
So according to that, the non-Jew ate a whole party, right? You let it cool down, and you can say, I reheat it, and then it tastes better.
No. We're not saying on that. Lochem, just calm down. Listen, listen. When a guy does something, we're not looking for coolest. We're looking, a guy, the guy...
No, we're saying, but what do you do in that situation?
When a guy, don't eat it. The guy made it, if a guy makes a party, he wants the guy made a party. A Yid makes a party, and the Shiksma forgot to put on the fire. He thought that, and Chabad next door to me, he's next to. One time they came into me, and he's not here, Levi. One time they came into me, and they realized that they put up the cholent, was the guy put up the cholent. It was a kiddush, and the Shabbos. So I told them that if you get out of the meat, the cholent is not really shel chamalochem, right? But throw out the meat. So throw out the meat. Not soymich on such coolers. I mean, on Shabbos you couldn't do it. Anyways, not soymich on such coolers. Only when there's a big need. That's how the can work. It's a huge need.
There's not a big need.
When the yeshiva has to serve 200.
Yes, when the yeshiva had a problem, that is a big problem. The yeshiva.
The yeshiva has a non-Jewish cook, right?
I don't know. There is a Jewish cook there, but she left. I don't remember the whole details. And so the Mexicans, they help out, and she went, and she had to go on emergency. I forgot about the whole story. What? The guy cooked the whole lunch. There was no lunch going to be in yeshiva.
Take a blowtorch and just touch everything a little bit.
No,
because you're toasting, you're making it better. No?
It has to be better.
But that's the question. Meaning, if you call it a tzorech, is there a way of improving it or further cooking it so that would accomplish what the Avnei Neza is?
Yeah, if I'm saying, and a big tzorech, if you could make him at stomach yufla, it would help. Exactly what he's saying.
He's not saying you don't want the Avnei Neza.
Where was the Avnei Neza?
He's saying coined it is the I'm not saying the I'm aware of that.
Bite.
Who was the Avnei Neza?
Who was the Avnei Neza? When did he live? He lived about, he passed away, I think, right after World War I. I think so. I don't remember now the dates. His son, was Shem Mishmul was his son.
I think he passed away 100 years ago.
100 years ago? Okay. Okay, Zug the Machaba. Yet Gemisha in Israel, this is a very interesting halacha. And you'll notice that this halacha is you'll learn a misa Haskell in this halacha. It's not so much the Gela Maisa, but you learn an incredible misa Haskell from this. I'll say it outside. What happens? You're a real Lubavitcher chassid. You're so makpid to pass Yisrael. And you have a guest. And your pass is not the best bread. You know, it's a cheap bakery over there. And this guy, your guest, he likes, in Yiddish you call him a feinschmecker. He likes good bread. So, you know, you quickly tell, you know, he brings his bread from Pas Akum, he brings them to the house. He says, you know, I brought my own bread, you know, I like, you know. So, can the balbus eat from the bread? The balbus is a haisa Lubavitcher. He never ate Pas Akum in his life. Machabas says, since the guest is eating, the balabos should wash and break bread on the pas palter of the goy. Imagine. Because since the guest is going to eat that bread, you should respect them and eat it. Now, I'll explain to you why it's not the gay nowadays. What is that?
Is that the same?
What?
So what if your wife brings that bread in?
Same thing? The biggest shouldn't buy it.
Some women, they like good bread, you know what I'm saying?
We've seen that would apply in reverse with the Holier issue.
The holier is a issa. This is about pas palter was a chumrah. You know, and that's it's only pas palter. It's not by cholav is a issa.
No, I mean when you have a film family, but they have Holier style.
Yeah, but the ones are machmer. But the ones who are machmer are really we hold it's issa gomer. Pas palter, everyone agrees that even the machmina it's a chumrah. So that this is a Rishalma. This is a Rishalma says. Since it's only a chumrah, so we have guests, instead of insulting the guests, you should enjoy the meal with eating pas lebrei bread, whatever it's called, the pas hakim.
Yes, no, it was 1910 when he passed away.
Thank you.
The Safar passed away February 7th, 1910.
Okay.
It's the Hebrew day.
He said 100 years ago.
It's exactly 100 years ago. Wow. Very good.
I think Alter Rebbe brings us down Rabbi Tauber and the Hilchos by Rosh Hashanah. So just to make sure.
I think this halacha brings down Hilchos B'tzis Pas.
Somewhere he brings it down somewhere.
Hilchos B'tzis Pas and Kif Samach Ches, I think. Mish Eiden Izer B'Pas.
Why can't you just take it and heat it up? I mean, why can't?
If you could do it, not to ashamed. If you could do it,
Could do what?
Benny said, why don't you just toast the guy's bread?
if you could, you do it.
Yeah,
The point
okay.
is not that if you can't.
Mishain and Nizam pass over the Gechoben, Shehesev Eitz Balabais, Hanizam pass over the Gechoben, while a Shilcham pass you pass Akib, Hayufa mi Yisrael. Listen to this better than the Jewish bread. Yebutze Balabais min Hayufa, from the Goyish bread, Emite Becholois Sesider Pashal Akim. Now there's a big machloikas why, when, and the Mishnah Berurah says, those days, it was a big thing, you broke bread, and you made a bracha, everyone was yoitza. I don't know if you know, it's called breaking bread, you know what I mean? And Betzeya Sapas means breaking bread, and everyone sat down, and you gave everyone a portion, it was a whole ceremonial. Today, everyone makes their own bracha, you know, we have no patience for anything, all the ceremony died, so the Mishnah says this doesn't apply anymore, this halacha. Because there's no Ava. You eat your bread, I eat my bread.
You have these homeopathic people who come in and they're vegans and they can only eat certain types of food and they're going to want them out. I mean,
Let them eat their own bread. The question is, do you have to eat your bread?
Yeah, but you don't have to eat their bread because we don't have the ceremonial things anymore. You know, we don't have to make a ceremony, you know, bake bread. And that's this halacha is brought down in Kif Samach Chesed, I forgot which Simon. There, Mishnah Berurah says the minig, not just the Mishnah, I think the Alter Rebbe also says it's not the gay now anymore. But the idea, you see, the concept exists of this idea.
What's the reason?
What's the reason about what?
Why this is coming up at all? Just for obvious Israel, like you were saying?
Yeah, it's Ava. Ava. Ava means, you know, people hate when you act, I'm holier than thou. People dislike it terrible. You know, often people ask me why people are annoyed with Lubavitch. So I say, I'll tell you why, because we perceive it. Now, I'm sure you Lubavitch at Tzaddikim, we perceive that act, we are better than you. No one likes that. No one likes when you act, I'm better than you. I don't eat that bread. You eat it, it brings Ava. That's the nature of people. You know what I mean? I think I've heard this expression, I'm holier than thou, right? That's what you say in English. No one likes that. That's not a good feeling. So that's called Ava. Especially bread. It's only prized by bread because that kelech michi, and that's the main meal. But if a person, that's why it's a Yishalma. See, what this halacha teaches us a very profound thing. How halacha works, now it's okay, and a certain other situation is not okay. And there's no guest, you don't eat it. See, most people today have a very hard time. I saw meat, stamp out, this concept that now okay, not now okay. But you do see this, but he spoke about, you have an aunt, who so mentioned before, like your grandmother, makes for the children, and then, she brought in holier and everything, make sure it's kosher, and we can't eat it. Because it's terrible. We're not talking about kashrus has to be checked out that it's kosher. That's a separate. Okay. Well, this is that's very important about kashrus because just because she's the grandmother doesn't mean she doesn't. But if you check on the food, and she knows that the children come to check the food, then it's okay. I have a guy who lives in my community. 4 of the 5 siblings became from. So his mother-in-law is paranoid that everything should be kosher. Because she knows that the grandchildren are going to come, and so they, whenever the children come to check, she always is machma sheba machma. But the truth is, it's a problem. People don't realize if you have if you go away and your grandmother comes, a shviga comes to cook for you, and she's not religious, so mechates it's going to be kosher. A guy just told me that he went away on vacation. Says, who took over the house? My mother-in-law. But you told me your mother-in-law doesn't keep Shabbos. If he doesn't keep Shabbos, kosher's out the window. I mean, it's a big problem, I know that. Yeah, but if she doesn't keep Shabbos, so she looks at it keeping kosher, she's a fanatic. Difference is the Ralph's chickens or, why should I spend the extra $3 on the chicken? Yeah, Tinnish is not a problem. Bishul, the problem is kashrus. It's a serious problem. I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's not good.
Even if it's your house or
yeah, how do you know what you did? How do you know what you did? You have children. How do you know what she's giving for the children? I tell the people in my community, it's very good if you have a shiksa to have a camcorder. They find so many things which you never dreamt about that comes up with the shiksas. And they thought, the shiksa, my shiksa. I don't know what this my shiksa means. My shiksa. I didn't believe my shiksa would do that. Yeah, I'm saying, I tell you, one guy told me, after he put in the camcorder, I said this once here before, the shiksa takes out the shesiv out of the cross, gives it to the child to kiss it, and then feeds it. Takes out the cross, and it makes the 2-year-old kiss it, and puts it back, and then starts feeding the child. Another one told me, 20 minutes, you could clock it, the baby was sitting in the high screaming, she did nothing. She was reading the newspaper. She totally see nothing. She's saying she's tilting the baby's screaming 20 minutes. It's not hers. I mean, why should she care? I mean, okay. Let's start Yudalit. I know Yudalit is a tough sieve, but let's start at least. So the Mechaba, Kitach Shaloi V'Gechovim, Kitach of a goy. Now this is very interesting. A Kitach is a problem of Cholov too. Kitach was, imagine what they do, good old days they had. They had a dip, was fish and some milk products in it, and there was no fridge, and this would last. The Gemara does say, Kitach is not such a good idea to eat, it causes problems. Imagine, of course it causes problems. Fish, milk, without fridge, weeks. The truth is that people say today, it's amazing they survived. They used to use bleach blood and use the same needles for everyone. You know what I mean? It's just frightening. They didn't know about, how's it called, care,
Not everyone's alive, Shane.
Yeah. Kitach is a cream, a dip. It's a famous dip in times of the Gemara. They used to put into it breadcrumbs. It's kitach shalev dichov meter, echoshen pasha dichov. You're not worried. Now the big.
There's many issues here, right?
Yeah, we'll later learn. Next week I'll explain bariches why there's no problem of cholav akum. Because from this is the place where many people want to say, well, you could eat chocolate, milk chocolate. If I could eat, the Gemara says you could eat kutach, what's wrong with milk chocolate? Yeah, it's just one of the ingredients as well. I'll get to it, Mr. Shem. But let me just focus on the Mechaber said there's no problem. The reason the problem is because the bread that was mixed in, it's a meat of the bread. The Mechalek is if it's meat of the bread or the bread was made to crumble in, so there's no problem of Pasakim. That's what Mechaber is saying.
So croutons, according to that, Rabbi Tauber, people make salads and they put these little bread, right?
Yeah, but that's a problem because bread is made for taste. The bread never becomes bottled. It's you see the bread. Over here, it was mixed in. So one of the ingredients is breadcrumbs. But you're talking about the salad, they put mamish pieces of bread. I mean, it tastes like bread, smells like bread, and then it chews like bread.
Yeah, but breadcrumbs that are used for schnitzel, and then you just...
That's because you you fry it, so that loses the bread, that's why.
It doesn't look like bread, it looks like crumbs.
Crumbs of bread is bread. Matzah meal is, that's called bread.
So you're saying once you take the breadcrumbs and you bread your schnitzel and you fry it...
That's okay. The Gemara says clearly,
It's no
that's
longer
okay.
called pasach.
It's not called, it's not called anymore bread. Tomato, you make them a zionist. We don't even make them a zionist. Someone,
But the kutzah was still bread.
well, that's a question right now. I'm not going to go into it. But bread in a salad, I've seen this, people make such bread. It's,
The kutzah was still bread. So it's bread.
Kittach had one ingredient was bread. Kittach was fish sauce, milk, and one of the ingredients was breadcrumbs, crushed breadcrumbs. And it becomes bottled. That's the reason.
That's what I'm saying. If you take matzah meal and you mix it into something else, another mixture,
It will be okay.
it would be okay to be
Right. And the question is over here, I'll get into it. It's long, but we'll get to it next week. But are we talking about the guy mixed it in or I bought it this way? I bought it, seems like they bought it from the guy this way. So since the guy made it, I'm not allowed to take bread from a guy and mix it in. But if the guy made it and one of the green is the bread, it's okay. That's what he's saying. Because the majority is not the bread. That's what the whole heter is based on.
Is it that it's no longer in the shape of bread, or that it's bottled?
It's bottled. The ingredients. But look at the Rebbe says, if chomukim shenis araf pasher of the chumash sharmachal, buta berav ben belach ben yuish, but aval usel araf kreachi. You're not allowed to do it. The guy does it. It's okay. That means the guy. If you buy this kutach from a guy, if you buy a nash from a guy, and inside one of the ingredients is breadcrumbs, it's okay. But you cannot go take breadcrumbs and mix it in. Pasak, right. Okay, stop over here.